What's up, guys? LevelUp here at OnPointGaming's OnPointTactical. Today we're going to be looking at the ACE-52 CQB, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the way that my voice sounds today. I have a horrible cold, but I needed to crank out some YouTube anyway, so without further ado, let's get into the review. ACE-52 CQB is one of those guns that is just now coming around in the Battlefield 4 multiplayer. We've never seen it before in a first-person shooter, I don't believe, and it really is a awesome looking gun. Performs perfectly, and it does one of the higher damages of the carbines and I think of any automatic weapon in the game. So the ACE-52 CQB does 35 damage through about 8 meters, and that drops off to 20 damage at 50 meters. So it has kind of a classic carbine damage model, except that it drops off to 20 instead of 14. That is significant with range combat, because whenever you're firing at ranges, that means that you are only going to have to hit a person, you know, this many shots versus a much higher amount of shots if it was 14 damage. So 20 damage, that is going to take about 5 shots, unless you shoot them in the legs or in the face. It's gonna wind up being about 5 shots to drop a person beyond 50 meters. It does fire the 7.62 by 51mm NATO round, which is why it does it such a high damage. The reload times are 2.2 seconds on a short reload and 3.1 seconds on a long reload. Now remember, there is that staged reload system, so you don't really need to worry about the long reload system quite as much. The recoil pattern is 0.45 up, 0.25 left, and 0.25 right, with a recoil decrease per second of 12, with a first shot recoil multiplier of 2.3 times. So that first shot is going to have pretty significant recoil, but beyond that it's going to be pretty easy to manage. The magazine size is 26 rounds, so less than 30, but honestly, with a gun that only shoots 650 rounds per minute, I don't really think that you're going to need much more ammo to drop your target. The base spread is 0.3, which means that a heavy barrel is going to bring that down to about 0.15, 0.2, something like that, with the 50% accuracy increase that it gets in Battlefield 4. But you do get a significant recoil increase with a heavy barrel as well. And as far as in-game performance is concerned, this gun is a beast. It will straight up drop people in close quarters and at distances. Honestly though, it'd be one of my favorite guns to use at medium to long range engagements. There's going to be several assault rifles that are going to beat it out in long range engagements, and the PDWs, or the personal defense weapons available to the engineer, are going to be absolute powerhouses in close quarters to deal with this gun as well. The 416 and the M4 are going to be no exception to this. They're going to be quite the force to go up against. Any gun is going to have a pretty darn hard time beating them out in close quarters, except for, of course, the AEK and the FAMAS, but that's just because they shoot so darn fast. This gun shoots 650 rounds a minute, which means that in close quarters you're going to lose some of those firefights with the rate of fire issue. But because it is a 7.62 weapon and not a 5.56 weapon, it does 34 damage. So it does make up for it considerably, but not enough to where I'd say I'd rather have it versus an M416 or an M4 in close quarters. I think I would still rather have an M416 by a long shot, and honestly, the knife works pretty well too. So it looks really cool, and the first attachments that you unlock for any gun in the game, I believe it works like this, is you get the red dot sight available to that for that particular weapon's army. So in this case it is a Chinese gun, so it would be a coyote red dot sight, an ergo grip, a laser, and a muzzle brake. I think those are the first 4 attachments that you get for any gun. I don't really think it matters what class it is, except for maybe like sniper rifles, but I believe any automatic weapon has that same sort of unlock tree in the form of red dot sights, lasers, muzzle brakes, and things of that nature. So this gun doesn't really need much more than a red dot sight. If you wanted to run potentially a lower magnification zoomed optic like an M145, which is only 3.4 times zoom instead of the ACOG 4 times zoom. If you wanted to roll something like that, you could probably pull it off, but honestly, a lot of these maps are just a little bit too tight to use these sights to their full potential. Like, unless you're playing Conquest, you don't really have much need for an ACOG if you are good at recoil management and ranged combat. Now, if you do need some help spotting and staying on target at ranges, then an ACOG or an M145 might be an option for you, but for most of us, the red dots or holographic sights are going to be plenty to use for ranged combat. I would not recommend a heavy barrel, as the heavy barrel is only going to increase this gun's recoil, and its low amount of recoil is like the reason that I love it. It's real easy to control, does a heck of a lot of damage, but it does shoot slow. So almost every gun has that sort of balancing factor that is A, annoying, or B, necessary. This one is necessary. If this shot 700 rounds per minute or 750 to make it more comparable to other carbines, it would just rip through people at an unrealistic rate of speed. Maybe not unrealistic, but an unbalanced rate of speed. Other guns would have such a hard time keeping up with the ACE-52 or the ACE-52 that it would almost be ridiculous and pointless to even use another gun. That's why the burst guns, the M4 and the M16, get such good accuracy bonuses, is because they are burst, so you have to fight that first shot recoil multiplier constantly. But if you can get down to managing that recoil and that annoyingness, then you are golden and you are set. It's just, those are absolute beast guns. It's just a matter of having the skill set to maintain accuracy and versatility with them. That is one thing that this gun doesn't exactly need. It's insanely easy to use all the time. It does shoot a little bit slow, but honestly, if you haven't used it yet, you should probably consider doing that, because it is an absolute beast and it's just really fun to use. It's a very cool looking carbine, and there's a couple different versions of it in Battlefield 4, so if you don't want to unlock the carbine version, go for the assault rifle version, or go for even the other carbine version of this gun. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'm LevelUp here at OnPointGaming's OnPointTactical. I'm gonna go get some rest and retire for the week. Try and get this cold figured out. I already said that. Have a good one and take it easy, guys.